Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. I'm your host, Davida Shinsky. You're listening to Live Without Limits, coming to you live from the Blog Talk Radio Network. Today's show is titled 10 Essential Time Management Hacks Guaranteed to Increase Your Productivity. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself, said Andy Warhol. We all have 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, or 86,400 seconds in a day to be productive. But why do some people seem to accomplish way more than others, even though we all have the same amount of time? How do you do it? The answer is quite simple. They've mastered the skill of time management. But let's be real. We all get busy, overwhelmed, or distracted. And quite frankly, managing our time isn't always that simple. The good news is there are some little hacks that you can apply into your life to become successful at it. If you're tired of running away from important but difficult tasks, and you like to really learn how to train your mind to become more focused and productive, then try these 10 hacks for ultimate success. Wake up, start working, work out, and learn to relax. Remember, peak productivity isn't about luck. It's about habit and commitment. One of the things that I've always done is I never go into a day without a plan. I know that I schedule my exercise 3 days a week. And because I don't have my own car and I have to schedule medical transport under, as that I'm going for physical therapy, that what do? I always call 2 weeks in ahead. Why? Because there are times that you wake up and you say, hey, I don't really want to do it today. But I know that I've got transportation coming, so I can't back out. So guess what? First thing I do when I get up in the morning on those days is put on the clothes that I'm going to wear when I exercise. Therefore, I take my clothes with me so that when I finish, I can change. Therefore, when I get home, I start working. Whether it's that I'm on the server where my domain name is or my websites are dot, so I can learn more about writing my e-learning courses or promoting my programs through lead magnet pages. All of this are things that have to be planned, because if you don't, it's easy to get distracted and do other things. So the first thing, and this is the thing that I've heard many a time, is the night before you go to bed, plan out what you are going to do the next day. So the first thing to do is plan your day. Prioritize your tasks by tackling the ones that will give you the most return for your time, and take out the rest. You'll get fewer tasks done, but you will be more efficient. Here's another thing to think about. When you have things that you have to get done, always do the tasks that you don't like to do first. Why? Because by getting those things done, then you're more likely to get the rest of the things done once those things are completed, because when you enjoy doing something, it's not work. It's really just doing something that you enjoy doing. The next thing to do is to create a to-do list. Why do you need to create a to-do list? Because when you have it all written down, and guess what? What do they always say? Write everything down, and then as you complete it, check it off. That's another way to make sure that everything gets done on your list. So make your list as clear as you can and put it where you can see it at all times. And most importantly, make it short. Longer lists make you busy and not necessarily productive. What do they say when you go to the grocery store? Always have a list written down. That way you don't get things that you don't need. Because what do they do in the grocery store? They put the most enticing things up front, or they'll sell things 2 for $1 just to get you to buy more. And then what happens is, once you get used to doing that, and I can use this because I'm getting double the amount of money, you just tend to add things that you don't need. So always make sure you have a list. Do the hardest task first. Your creativity and motivation are at its peak during the morning, so take advantage of it by doing the hardest task on your list first. And your energy wears off. You can move on to the easier task. Also, by doing this, you'll be less likely to procrastinate, more likely to build momentum, and you'll have a sense of accomplishment for the remainder of the day. Mark Twain famously said, "Eat a live frog first in the morning, and nothing worse will happen to you for the rest of the day." Always remember this, that if you do the hardest things, like in my case, because I only use one hand, it makes it doubly hard for me to clean, and it's easy for me to go throw the laundry in. So what do? On days that I need to clean, first thing I do, go throw the laundry in, put the money in, come in and start cleaning the house. Why? And it's really nothing more than my bathroom and my kitchen, that's the hardest part. And then once I complete that, then it's getting the floor done. So it really only takes me about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to get things done. But it's a matter of getting started. And I find that the older I get, the harder it is to actually get started doing what I need to do. But I know that if I do it and get started, that if I throw my laundry in, say at 7 in the morning, at 8 o'clock I'm cleaning, by 10, 11 o'clock I'm usually finished, that all I have to do is just make the bed. Because the hardest part of everything is when I clean the floor, I first have to take my vacuum over it to get all the dust up. And then I got to take the mop to get all the dirt out just to keep it clean. And it's always having to remember that I should sweep every day. And whenever I start seeing where things dropping, just start bringing the mop out and getting it done. Create a daily ritual. Habits. Habits are the things that you should do that keep you going from day to day. And let's look at what habits are. Famous and successful people like Oprah and Thomas Edison follow strict daily routines. They set up a time to wake up, start working, work out, and when to relax. Remember, peak productivity isn't about luck. It's about habit and commitments. What we should do when we get through with this is talk about habits. Why? Because when you talk about a habit, you're telling people about how to do things. And what do they say? Habits usually get started by things that you repeat on a consistent daily basis. And why not start to do things where you can really create some really good habits for yourself? And then once you've created a habit, all you have to do is remember this. It helps you completely stay focused on what you're doing. Because, and you know what happens? Once you develop a habit, it becomes so routine. Sometimes you do it without even realizing that you're doing it. But the idea is that it keeps you on task constantly and helps you to get the things done that you really, really should be doing. So that's the importance of the daily ritual. And often people will say, I never have time just to myself, or I never have time to do writing. Well, one of the ways you can help yourself is to maybe start getting up 15 minutes earlier one day, 15 minutes earlier, till you can get up an hour earlier and take that time as your own time that you can get the things done that you want to achieve, and that if you do a little bit of something every day, then by the deadline, it can be actually completed. Simplify your decision making. Are there any techniques you use to simplify your decision making process on a daily basis? Mark Zuckerberg wears the same shirt every day. So did Steve Jobs. Now, I'm not suggesting you do the same, but the idea is to find some decisions in your everyday life that you can automate. After you do this, you can enjoy more time and abundant energy to focus on things that matter most to you and be more productive. You know, it may not be the exact same shirt they're wearing, but what happens is they can have 10 or 20 or 30 different shirts that are all the same color, so they tend to look like the same shirt. The idea is that if you are consistent, if you don't have to go out of your way, it's like in my case, I found that I had my feet swelling up to the point that I couldn't put shoes on anymore. And in essence, what it was is I had to go for 2.5 weeks straight to have massages that would get rid of the fluid in my legs that was backtracking, and I had to start wearing compression stockings. Well, compression stockings are not easy to put on, but if you use the right equipment, then it's easy. Plus, you need to know and get trained how to use them. And many people will buy compression stockings, and they'll buy them a size larger or 2 sizes larger, so they're easy to get on. But if they're not the right size, they're not doing the job they were meant to do. So the idea is, and yes, it's knowing that it takes me at least 5 to 10 minutes to put both on, and how long it takes me to completely get dressed. And then when I'm usually on my way home from the gym, what do? I usually call medical transport to let them know I'm ready, so that They can let me know how long before the driver gets there so I can plan what to do in the interim instead of just standing outside waiting and not knowing what's going on, because they don't always call me when they're coming to pick me up to take me to my appointment, and they never really call to let me know when they're outside. So it's up to me to find out before I go outside how long I have to wait. Take advantage of off-peak hours. Do you have the habit of buying groceries on Sunday afternoon when the store is busiest? Do you hit the gym at 5 p.m. when everyone else does? Why go to movies on the most popular nights? Do things on off-peak hours, and you won't have to wait around to accomplish what you want. This is something that I think that we often don't think about, is that when you go in off-peak hours, like one of the things I like to do when I go to the grocery stores, I like to go when I'm on my own, that I go first thing in the morning. Why? Because it's not busy. I can get exactly what I want and be out of there in less than 15 minutes. Now, the hardest thing is that I have to depend on the transportation that's provided in the community. Therefore, what do I end up having to do? I end up having to do more waiting for them only because they only run every half an hour. But the thing is that at least I know exactly what I want, I know exactly where it is, and I know exactly how long it's going to take me to get my shopping done, so that I know I can be out there in time to catch the bus. Maintain a fit body, mind, and spirit. This is something that we don't always think about. And I can remember teaching a course that talked about mind, body, and spirit, because when everything is working together, then you're working at an optimum level. Make sure to keep your mind sharp by stimulating it and tapping into your creativity. Fulfill your spirit by doing things you love and keep your body healthy by working out consistently. Don't forget to get enough water and sleep. When you take time to take care of this, it will reflect on your productivity levels and the next day. Always remember that people tend to, because they see the advertising by Coca-Cola or by Pepsi, that they've got to drink soda. Water is the best thing that you can drink, because what does it do? It literally hydrates you. Always think about the things that you can do that help put your mind and body at its optimum level on a daily basis. Declutter your space. Are you constantly looking for things misplaced around your house or your workspace? Does your office or home cause you more stress than peace? Do you know by spending 10 minutes each day decluttering one area of your home or office, you'll be less likely to be distracted and obsessed? Try it and see it for yourself and how being organized pays off. The biggest problem is that it always depends on your personality, because some people can't help themselves. They are either neat freaks that everything is always in place, and then you have people who just scatter things around. And always, it's important to be organized, because it's the best thing in time management is that you organize everything that you have to do, and you know exactly where it is and what needs to be done and when. The biggest problem is it's easy when you're unorganized to get lost and not realize what you need to do to complete all your tasks. Treat your time like money. If time is money, which most of us agree it is, why give it away? It's important to say no or decline some opportunities. Your main goal should be to take on only the ones you know you have time for and that you truly care about. I think this is the biggest thing that a lot of people don't realize, especially if they work for straight salary and they put in a certain amount of time and one of the things that when people are talking about network marketing or affiliate marketing, what they're also talking about is passive income, money that you earn, that you put the time in early on, but what you're doing is bringing back residual income. Often when people talk about residual income, they often would mean investments, and investments are a very important part of earning passive income. But here's another thing to think about. There are today, because you're working at home, you can be on vacation, and because you've put in the time and promoted your business, that with the online business, your business is open 24/7, so you can be earning money when you sleep or when you're on vacation. But always remember this, that give value to your time, because I can remember my mother would often get up in the day, sit around for most of the morning, or maybe get some things done in the house when we were kids. But at the same time, she never was ready to get motivated to go out until the afternoon. And then it was really just to go walk around the mall and waste time. That to her, time had no value to it. That when they would go shopping and find something, they would literally go from store to store to store to see if they could find the same item for the same price or for less. Why? Because it's like you just spent money on gas to go from store to store and wear and tear on your car, which is money, but that didn't faze them. But yet, when it came to doing things or spending money on something, they would think, literally watch it 10 times and go back and look at it before they actually bought it, thinking, oh, it's going to get cheaper. Oh, but if that time that you just spent going around window shopping or looking for something, that's money too. So what's the difference if you get it when you want it and when you need it, as opposed to waiting a month or waiting 2 months or 3 months just because you're looking to save a dime? Master these essential life skills. Take time to become more efficient by looking for trends. Did a task take longer on a certain day or time of day? Did you find that you're more productive in the morning or at night, even everyone's asleep? What can you do to improve? Find the time when you're most focused and the tasks that need the most concentration so you can get more done effective and be more effective when you do your work. Remember, remember this, being busy is nothing but being preoccupied with lots of unfulfilling activities. Anyone can be busy. Choose to be productive. Remember what you choose to do with your precious amount of time will dictate the quality of your life. And speaking of the quality of life, you can find and uncover your subconscious roadblocks that could be standing between you and life that you desire. If you tried everything to master time management skills, but nothing seems to stick, there can be something blocking you from success. So always think about all of these things that are important in time management. But one of the things I'd like to speak about for the last couple of minutes is about habits. Why habits? Because habits are things that you learn, and you learn by repeating them. So habits are the small decisions you make and actions you perform every day. According to researchers at Duke University, habits account for about 40% of our behaviors on any given day. Your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. How in shape or out of shape you are, a result of your habits. How happy or unhappy are you? A result of your habits. How successful or unsuccessful are you? A result of your habits. What you repeatedly do, what you spend your time thinking about and doing each day, ultimately forms the person you are, the things you believe, and the personality that you portray. Everything I write about, from procrastination and productivity or strength and nutrition, starts with better habits. When you learn to transform your habits, you can transform your life. Always remember that you control your time and you control your habits. Always remember that with habits, you can create an opportunity for yourself to manage your time more effectively. What I want to do is finish off here with a short story of how I became more productive. That for me, I always had to be organized, because for me, how I learn is by doing things, not by just reading and hearing something. I actually have to put it into use. Otherwise, the one thing that I found, now let me back up, that I have cerebral palsy, and what cerebral palsy is, it's a neuromuscular disability, and it depends on the specific parts of the body that's affected, because for some people with cerebral palsy, it affects their speech, it affects their ability to speak clearly, because the muscles in the vocal cords are affected. But for me, luckily, it really is just, it's more technically called spastic hemiplegia, because it really just affects one side of my body. But because I only use one hand, I have found that I use adaptive equipment to help me be more productive and to help me manage my time more effectively. That I use Dragon Naturally Speaking, which is a speech-to-text software that when I speak, it does my typing for me. Therefore, because when you type with one hand and you gotta keep track of where the letters are, then it really takes up more time, and it's more difficult typing with one hand to type at a high speed. But my speech is much faster, and when I'm working with the software, because I've trained in how to recognize my voice, then I'm capable of getting more things done. And I would like to remind you, you can go to my website, and that website is the number one, personalcoach.com. Personal career coach, the number one, personalcareercoach.com, and you can sign up for both individual and group coaching.